Dear friends, welcome back to the iPhone app creation tutorial. This is video number 19. Thank you for sticking along, and if you have joined me right now, I would advise you to go back to the first video so that you can learn through the whole process of creating a book tracker app from the scratch. If you're an intermediate program, please go ahead. You can start wherever you want to. You can learn tricks and trick of uh, doing iPhone coding using the Swift language. We are going to continue our lesson forward. We are building up a book tracker tutorial. Go ahead and click on the Xcode, open up your book tracker tutorial, and we are going to continue from where we left last time. So what we want to do, let's quickly run to showcase what we want to achieve. We have learned in the last session that how to get access to a navigation controller, from there to a view controller, and then how we can change values of that view controller, right? What we want to do now is few things. One, we want to change the label. When you want to edit a book, as soon as you click on, let's say this one, update, I want to make the add book to edit book. And when you come back to the screen, I want to make it edit book here as well. And I also want to populate all the values here with the right values of the book that you are trying to edit, right? We will go up till there. In the next one, video 20, I will teach you how to update as well. Okay, go ahead and stop the program. This is the part of the code that you have done to get access to navigation controller, downcasting it to controller, and then to the add book view controller, which is the first view controller within the navigation controller. You see the navigation controller is one because the second tab, if you recall, that's where the add book is, right? And this one helps you to jump between the tab bars. So we said the first thing we are going to do is we are going to change the titles, right? So first for the navigation controller, so you can say nav controller, which is where you have stored the navigation controller. See this one, right? You already have access to that. Say dot, this is not something like navigation bar, right? So let me show it to you what I basically mean. If you go here, this is the navigation controller you're getting access to, correct? And from there, this is the bar, this is a navigation bar, and within this navigation bar we need to access this top item where there is a title, right? So it's a chain that you need to follow through. We follow through the chain to get the navigation controller, and which is right here. We say tab bar controller, get me all the view controllers, and I downcasted the first one, the second one rather, which is 0 and 1 to UI navigation controller. From there I say get me the navigation bar, which I showed you right now, and from there the top item, which is the view controller, and then from there you want to get the title. You can give any name. I'll say edit book. Similarly, you need to do the tab bar. So the tab bar is self, which is within this program itself, your tab bar controller, which is how you got access to the view controllers in the first place. You say tab bar controller dot, you have to get access to your tab bar, which is this, and within the tab bar there are items, which is an array. So you can say items 0 1, this will be I think 1, right, not 0, right? So we have to say items 1, put a question mark because there may or may not be items, so you know that question mark is optional. And then if you do a dot, it should give you title, and title you can say edit book again. Let's go ahead and run this and see if it does what it is supposed to do. Okay, come here, update, bingo. See edit book here, edit book here. Okay, one job done. Now what we need to do is we need to populate all this value. So you remember last time what we did was we access a test, pass the test, we know that which book it is. If you go back, you'll know that is the last scintilla the book I have. We are trying to update. So ideally what you need to do is you need to have 4 variables here, one for the book name, author name, genre, and status. A simple way to do is like test, you can define 4 variables, but that's not a very efficient way of coding. So what we will do is we will go ahead and say I'm going to define a class of my own, which is known as book class. This is of type NS object, right? You're defining an object, and within that class you can define what are the variables you need. So you need a variable for book name, correct, which is type string, just like you define any variable. You need a author name, which is again of type, I think everything is string for us in this one. So where genre, which is again a string, and a status, which is again a string. Lovely. Once we have this, this is a class. So from a class you have to make an object, right? So that, and this object we need to get access here. So what we will do is, okay, I have deleted the test, so I should delete this as well over here. Okay, so because we don't need it anymore, right? So now what you need to do is you need to define at the class level. See, it is at the class level. I've defined one more class inside this. I say I have a variable which is, let's say we name it as book, which is of type book class, and then you have to instantiate the class. How do you instantiate the class? By saying book class like this. You instantiate view controller by doing this here. Similarly, you instantiate the class. So that means this book can hold one book information. We only want to pass one book. If you want array, you can make it an array as well, which is how you make an array. You can do this, and book will become an array. But we don't need an array. All we need is one book which has to be updated. So bingo, you've done this. This book values needs to be filled when you are clicking on the update and you know which book it is. How do you know? All the books are stored here, and then you have an index path through which you can access the particular book which is getting updated. Okay, so let me delete this for now because we don't need a test anymore. It's a view controller dot book is the variable. Okay, it's not coming up because I think it is not refreshed. So you just do command B, it will build the whole application. And now if you see view controller dot book, it should give you book. Okay, so now book moment you say dot, it gives you all the names, right? So that's the beauty of it. It is all systematic and programmatically arranged. It is more readable, it is more accessible and more compact. So you say book name, this book name should be equal to whatever record you're updating on, and that record is in books, right? That's where you store everything. I think you should say self.books rather. Oops, dot books. In that particular row and index wherever the user has clicked, and it has also all the variables. Oh, index path dot row, my bad. And then you should say book name. Okay, so do the same thing for others. View controller dot book dot author name equal to self dot books, index path dot row dot author name, view controller dot book dot genre equal to self dot books, index path dot row dot genre, and the last one view controller dot book dot status goes to self dot books, index path dot row dot status. Okay, so you've transferred all the current index path row value into this. So you have 10 books. If you have done the update on the fourth one, the fourth book will go into this book. Why it is important? Because now this book is available here in this book. Let's print it out for now. In the view did appear, you can print it out as a print. You have the book here, right? You've already passed the value. Say book dot author name. Okay, similarly say book dot book name. I think I should do the book name first, which is okay, no harm done, but I think you would like to see the book name first before the author name. And then you print the genre by saying book. See how readability increases so much now, right? It is all impact. You can read it nicely. So you visit the code after years, you can still read the code well. Dot status. Brilliant. Now let's run this and see what's going on. So there is a error here, not error, the warning here. This is a force wrap, right? See, force unwrap value is, you can put this exclamation mark. I'll talk about it a little later as well, why it is important, why it is not. But let's quickly run it and see what's going on. So when I run, so you have only one book now. So let's create one more so that I can show you the value. But yeah, let's do that later. But let's try to first fix it. Run this and see that how it is working. So let me drag this over here. Moment I say update, maybe over here. Sorry. Moment I say update, I want to show you the code first. So you go to display, right? This is what is going to, it will get the navigation control, it'll get the view control, it will set the values accordingly, and then it will access the book, put all the book name, then it will go to that view control. Moment it goes, it calls view did appear will be called and display printed, right? As to that, bingo, you got the last scintilla written by Shantanu, which is a work of fiction to be read. Cool. Okay, but now I need to put these values over here, right? But before doing that, I want to stop this, run this once again and show you something. What if I go directly to add book? There's an error. Why there's an error? Because I forced it. When I directly go here, this book is empty, right? Because this is only to be filled when you come from the display book, right? So to avoid this, what you can do is, let's stop this. You can put 2 question mark by saying that, hey, if you have the value, print it. If you don't have the value, print that no book, right? Similarly, you can say I have an optional value, no author. You can print anything, right? So I'm, oops, no genre, question mark, no status. So hopefully this time it will not give an error, hopefully so. And let's go, oh, not from here, directly from here. See, no book, no author. I go here and I go to update, it gives me the value. Brilliant. Okay, that's how it is going to work out. And now what I want to do next is put this value in the text field. That's easy, right? So what you need to do is, instead of printing, you can delete this, we don't need to print anything. We'll simply say the text field name, book text field dot text is equal to, you can say book dot book name, right? Again, it may give error if I force it. So what I want to do is, I will say here, if book dot book name is not equals to nil. If it is not empty, then I want to go ahead and do this. Okay, let's do one and see how it works out. Run this, come from here, to be read, update, it didn't come through. Now there is an error here, or there is a mistake here I have done, because of it's not coming through. But I want to leave you with that so that you can go ahead and see what mistake I have done. For example, I want to show you, just to give you an idea, if I don't put this condition, okay, and I run this, and I go to be read and I do update, it still doesn't come. If you can debug this and figure out that it's not about a nil alone. Even if I've shown you, I've printed this and I've shown you that value is there. Why, even if the value is there, it is not storing, it is not assigning it to the book text field dot text. That's an exercise for you. Figure that out, and we shall meet again in the next video where I can show you that all the values that you have gotten, how do you now transfer that to the text field that you are trying to put in, right? With that note, thank you for listening. In the next video, we will not only store it, but we'll also try to save it. But I'll be very happy if you can go ahead and try to do this. Also try to understand, why did I put nil here? How does it help? Just think about that, think about all the conditions and get it done. I'll give you another tidbit. After update, we need to make sure that we change the labels to add book and add book on the navigation bar as well as on the tab bar, right? Because it will not look nice if it again says edit book if I want to click on it. Think about that as well. With that, I will leave you here. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next class. Thanks. Bye.